we're in a time right now where social media keeps us apart from connection. And then the climate of where we're at right now is so divisive. That energy is there. People are looking for a way to connect, a way to slow down, and a way to feel nurtured. And we get to do that in these rooms.
Welcome to the Learn Skin podcast with me, Dr. Raja.
And me, Dr. Hadar, where we discuss all things skin.
Join us as we delve into the art and science of skin health in today's episode.
Hey, Raja, can you say the thing I told you to tell them?
Of course. We are board-certified dermatologists. This podcast is meant for educational and informational purposes only and is not considered medical advice, nor does it serve as a substitute for professional care by a doctor or other qualified medical professional. All opinions shared do not express the views of Learn Health, Inc. Let's get to the good stuff. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next Learn Skin podcast, where I'll be flying solo. There's no Dr. Hadar today because he's flying elsewhere. I'm not sure where he is in the world, but I'm sure he'll have more to talk to us about when he gets back. But in the meantime, we've got a really awesome topic today. Today, we're going to be talking about men's health. And I know this is an area that sometimes gets a little bit less attention, especially in the space of skincare. But not today, because we have an expert with us. His name is Lachelle Yulee, and he is an esthetician. He's got a wealth of experience. He's had more than 20 years of working in cosmetics and product development with name brands like Neiman Marcus, Chanel, Saint Laurent, Tom Ford, Bobbi Brown, MAC Cosmetics, and a lot of these high-end brands. But what's really interesting is he's got his own studio, the Lachelle Effect, in Beverly Hills. And his purpose is really the education and normalizing men's skincare. Lachelle, welcome to the podcast. Super excited to talk to you.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Really, really glad to be here.
Well, I want to get started. Maybe you can take us to the beginning. How did you get interested in the space of being an esthetician? And maybe give us a journey on how you got into this space within the esthetician community.
Oh, wow. It was just kind of a progression over the years. I've been working in makeup since I was 17 years old, like straight out of high school. I started out as a stock boy at Estee Lauder, and then I begged those women to let me do makeup, and they gave me a chance on the counter, and then my makeup career started. And through the years, I have worked as a sales artist, meaning a makeup artist who also sells cosmetics. And then I worked as a resident artist, a freelance artist. I've actually managed certain makeup counters, so I got to play in the business end of it. I've actually helped smaller brands structure their brands because of my experience. So I've worked in so many different positions in the cosmetic world and learned so much about skincare. And skincare was something I really, really loved.
Yep.
Especially, I'm an East Coaster. I was big into models and fashion, and it was all about skin and then very light makeup. And so I knew that the skin was the thing that you needed to take care of. When I moved to LA in about 2009, I started working with Damone Roberts, and it was a focus on eyebrows. And that's what his salon was known for. And I kept saying to him, I don't see a lot of men in here. And I said, we need to get to do some guy brows. And he was, well, figure this out. I mean, I do have some men, but it'd be nice if we can get some more, because I knew how men felt when it came to the beauty industry about getting brows done, skin, makeup, any of those things. That wasn't something they felt very comfortable with. And I was like, but there's a space for them here. And I saw a need for them personally to have it. And then, 2019, Damone closed his space, and I just opened up mine, and I just said, I'm going to take a leap of faith here. I felt about like 2017 when I was still with Damone. I said, I can see the skincare business going towards men. I felt it in my spirit, because the whole movement of mustache and beard in the 1940 men's barbershop of the gentleman look was coming back. And I knew skincare was the next step. Then we got pandemic, and the pandemic actually was a blessing, because wellness and well-being became huge for people because they started to.
Oh my gosh, so huge.
And so I already was there before the pandemic, but once it came, it was like, you're in alignment with what's happening now. And so I just opened up my space and focused it towards men, and here I am.
I love what you're talking about, because it's such a natural evolution in how you went into the space and how you noticed maybe an area where there needed to be growth. Boy, were you ahead of your time. I mean, that's pretty amazing how you caught that wave, because now I feel like with men, there's so much of this, the regrowth of the mustache, the beards, that skincare almost has become like facial hair care too, is part of it. And so can you take us through, how is the approach to men unique? Because I think sometimes we think skin is skin is skin. But one thing we try to emphasize, especially here on the Learn Skin podcast, is skin is not always just skin, and there is uniqueness. What's the uniqueness between male skin and female skin, or that's unique to a man?
The way men's skin are built is very different than women. Our skin is 20% thicker than theirs. We carry more sebaceous glands, right? And so our signs of aging, once they do show up, they tend to hold on for a long while. And that also depends upon where you are in the Fitzpatrick scale, what cultural background you are. But once you start the signs of aging, those things kind of set in deeper, which makes our skin a little bit more fragile to aging once it starts. So there are those things. And then there's, I believe, certain skin issues and conditions that really hit men more than women and that need to be addressed. And I see more dermatitis, eczema, razor bump issues, follicular barbari. So these things are all relative to men, and those are some of the really sort of general differences than women.
I can't believe that we're actually having this conversation, because I have to tell you, so many times I have men come in and they are just as concerned. You know, this whole development of, quote, Brotox from Botox. And not only that, you know, the amount of men that come in for things like redness on their face, or if there's uneven pigment, I feel like somehow it's become more normalized to have these conversations. And then, you know, the work that you're doing is amazing, because I think it empowers all of us to start thinking about daily routines. So what is your approach when you see your clients, and why do you think there's been such a push and comfort now for men to come in and ask, like, what is that tipping point that you think changed it?
Well, I think the tipping point is this. It's back to what I was saying. Post-pandemic, wellness and well-being had become really a priority to men. And they started to see the importance, especially men in a certain age bracket. I'm 47 years old, but men who are like, I would say 40 and under, are really understanding the importance of wellness and well-being. And as I always tell men or anyone that I talk to, it begins with your skin, right? And so the tipping point for them when they come in is, I'm looking to take care of myself. I want a place to come relax outside of the barber's chair, outside of a massage table. But, you know, and then they're also more concerned with any skin or health issues, and more, you'd be very surprised that a lot of men who are really, especially since social media, anti-aging. That gets them through the door. Like, I want
Absolutely.
prevention, you know, I want to look younger.
Yeah, isn't that so true? Actually, I mean, sorry to jump in, but I think the prevention conversation has really increased a lot more. I'm getting younger and younger folks coming in. It's not just, oh, I've got fine lines, let me fix it. It's like, hey, I'm starting to see changes. How can I prevent this from going on? Is that something that
Oh
is,
yeah, for sure.
you've noticed
It's
that too?
partly social media, but it's partly like these young men
Yeah,
are
that's a good point.
understanding the importance of health builds wealth and quality of life. You know, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And some of these guys just kind of understand that now. They've learned from their fathers and grandfathers who were anti any of that, right? And realize
Yeah,
that in
exactly.
order for me to have an impact in my life, I have to take care of myself. But I always tell guys, I said, listen, everything shows up on your skin. Some of these guys already know that your health, your diet, your lifestyle. And if you can get an understanding of that, right, and come and see someone like myself or begin your own skincare regimen to learn and to get in the groove of that and build a certain, then you understand that yes, the next best thing is the other part of wellness, which is mental health, doctors, diet, all the things you need to do to regulate that. These men, younger men especially, are really understanding that quality of life now is really bringing them in the doors.
I think preventative medicine is now equating to quality of life down the line, isn't it?
Preventative is very big now. Most guys still don't go to the doctor. Most guys still
No,
don't. Most
that's
guys
probably
still
true.
don't go to therapists. They're learning about that. They're hearing about that, but they will start off with a haircut, right? They will start off with a massage. Now they're adding skin treatments because they're kind of getting a moment to
Yes.
stop and relax and feel taken care of. Men are very practical when they do services like this, especially skin. It's about them feeling taken care of and nourished because sometimes they're not getting that in their home lives. So skincare allows you to sort of be a little bit more nurturing to them and nurturing them to themselves at home.
I want to dip into that a little bit more, what you just said, because I have a feeling that perhaps this is part of what you've recognized in your client. So, can you take us through what are the things that you look at when you have a man that's seeing you as a client? And you touched on something that I really wanted to touch on. Are they seeking nurturing services because it's something that they feel like they're missing? Is that part of this story? Can you talk more about both of those? Like, how do you approach men in your clinic, and what is driving that need for nurture?
I think that men, that whole idea of toxic masculinity started to raise questions within ourselves as men. We're starting to look at ourselves and redefine what it is to be a man, right? And
Yeah.
what does that take? And we know that part and parcel of toxic masculinity was a compartmentalization of our emotional intelligence, articulation, and awareness. Men now are starting to want to tap into that. And they're not being held down by social norms. And so they want to look at that now. And how I approach men in my salon is when they come in, when they usually book with me, because they usually see me on Instagram and they see me dealing with a different myriad of different men. First and foremost, they see themselves, right? There's a space that I create that's very inviting for them. And then when they walk through the door, just me being a man in that space and being able to meet them exactly where they're at. And I have clients that range from ages 19 to 65 and all walks of life,
Yeah.
social backgrounds. They know they're seen and heard from someone who gets it. Right. And so what I tend to look
Yep.
at as I do my consultation, I just ask, are you here to relax? Usually they just tell me, Raj, hey,
Mm.
I've been trying to be better with my self-care and relaxation. They're very open when they feel comfortable and they feel comfortable in my space. So normally that is 80% of why they're coming in. I just want to relax. I'm trying to be better with my self-care and take care of myself better. That's the main things that I hear when they come into the rooms.
Gosh, that's really touching because, one thing I don't think I fully appreciated about an esthetician's services was it's not just about skincare.
No.
I realized that, and it's perhaps my lack of knowledge that has really grown ever since I've been associated with more and more estheticians, and we got an esthetician that's working with us. People leave feeling way better about themselves, and it's not just like my skin looks good, it's like I feel good.
Yeah, we're in a time right now where social media keeps us apart from connection. And then the climate of where we're at right now is so divisive. That energy is there. People are looking for a way to connect, or a way to slow down, and a way to feel nurtured. And we get to do that in these rooms. I like to say that estheticians are part of the new clinics of the day. We are
Yeah.
sometimes the first point of contact to any other wellness activities that some people may get. And men are understanding that, and they're understanding that they need that. They can't give to their families. They can't give to their jobs. They can't give to the world and take care of the world if they're not doing that for themselves. And so they're looking for outlets. And what better way is to start off with skincare? Because what I get to do in the room, not just through relaxing treatments, we do focus treatments as well, obviously, if you have some skin conditions and some skin issues you want to really remedy. But I also teach them through home care practices, how that is building a self
Mm.
connection with themselves, right? By them being committed, consistent, and compliant and doing the home care.
Oh my gosh, I love this.
Yeah.
What are some examples of some home care instructions that you might give someone? Lachelle, I love what you're saying because, I think men for a long time have had a hard time being vulnerable. And I think it is hard because there's this belief that if you are, then it's going to be used against you. And this isn't just true for just men. I mean, even women will come upon this, but especially men, there's this fear of vulnerability. It sounds like you found a way to break that down. And not only that, you're getting them to do some home care routines. Can you talk a little bit about what is it that you're talking to them about?
Well, I meet them right where they are based off their skincare needs. Most guys, I just keep it really simple with them. I'll have them, obviously, some of them already washed and they love to moisturize, and men love scrubs for some reason. But I also get them, the serum aspect is really cool because I teach them that serums are the bread and butter of any line, and that's the thing that's going to cause the functional change to the skin. So I ask them to bring that in. Sometimes for the extra loving care, I said, hey, are you doing a mask in addition to and not just of? And I have them sometimes incorporate a mask, but more or less it's just those simple 4 steps at the beginning. And then, I tell them, I said, it takes 6 to 8 weeks for skin to change. So if you just ride this wave for 6 to 8 weeks, building that consistency and that muscle, and you see the health of your skin change, but what you're also doing with them is helping them take care of themselves and being more proactive about it. I don't know. It's just the together through home care. They love it and they see it. Oh, they tell me, oh, people are saying my skin looks great, or I look younger, I look fresher, and they feel good. So that's how I usually impart home care on them. It's not just throwing products in their hands.
Okay, so now you're getting into a much deeper area, which I think you got me thinking about an epiphany that just hit me when I was talking to you, which is giving men home care routines isn't about them just doing home care. It's about re-energizing them to believe that they can do daily actions a little bit at a time that can actually shift the way they may think about themselves, or maybe the way they behave. Maybe it's the first step to something much deeper in shifting something within them.
So helping them with the idea of process.
Yeah.
That's it. It's process. We live in this microwavable society where everything is right away. And especially with men, like we're about gratification because we're trying to get on with it. And so with skin care and skin needs, you understand, Dr. Roger, like it takes time to see that health of that skin change. And so by doing this, I'm hopefully inspiring process and a practice of slowing down.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think you nailed it. I think when they come to your office, they learn the value of slowing down. And I think that's something that's just missed because social media or all the pressures is always how fast can you deliver this or how fast can you deliver that. I don't think it's in the vocabulary too often. I didn't have any of my father's friends or my father's talking to me about slowing down. It was always about being more efficient.
Yeah, being more efficient, being how fast you can be, how strong you can be, all things that fed into the idea of what masculinity should be, almost as if we were machines. And we're humans, and we should be able to embrace all things human that make us truly strong and powerful. And stillness and slowing down and process and putting the work in and being consistent, all things home care and skincare does when you are really on a particular regimen, and setting those goals and then watching those things unfold in a timely, efficient manner. And that's why I always would say it begins with your skin, and how you do one thing, skincare, is how you do everything, because you will apply that sort of process in everything that you do in your life. I'm a firm believer in that.
I think this is the true meaning of being an integrative esthetician or an integrative practitioner, because my whole goal with integrative dermatology or integrative medicine in general has been that people find skin such a motivating factor because of the psychology that comes from it. If they have a disease or a condition on their skin, everybody's going to see it. So they're so motivated. But then if I can use that motivation to start thinking more about how can you be better with your mind body? How can you be better with nutrition? How can you be better about gut health? Or how can you be better about your daily habits, even just moisturizing if you have, say, eczema, for example. And so you use that skin as a genuine reason to affect change at a deeper level. I feel like, Lachelle, you're doing the same thing, except you're doing it with men that are coming into the esthetician's clinic.
Because men, I think we're under a reconstruction, and we need something tangible and something that will put us into action to start down that process. But just on overall, this is why I love Learn Skin, this whole platform. I mean, there's no coincidences even why I'm here, because all of this works together. And do you know Kaiser Permanente, the Kaiser Permanente model?
Well, I know about it as a closed model that's like HMO based, but perhaps there's more to the story.
Okay,
Please
well,
tell me.
what I like about the model is that when you go into a Kaiser Permanente establishment, everyone's there, the oncologist, the radiologist, the dentist, the doctor. This is the dream for me with men. Like, and you're already doing it on this platform where we're dealing with nutrition, we're dealing with all the integrative other therapies to help align mind, body, and spirit, to keep our health intact. And this is how I approach skin. When I talk to them about certain skin issues, yes, I'll ask them about diet and I'll ask them about medicine, but I'll ask them about, let's talk to me about stress or trauma, because all of these things happen here. And how can we bring other modalities in to help alleviate those things? Let's not compartmentalize what our health and wellness looks like, because it all works together. This is how I talk to guys. This is why they seem to, I'll have to be honest, they're very excited. Sometimes when they hear it like that, they love it, but they realize the work that needs to be done. And sometimes they can be a little bit more slower, but they are definitely open to it.
Well, Lachelle, this has been awesome. I do have one more question for you. I know we talked about how it's unique when you look at men versus, say, kind of putting it all together and saying men and women are all the same when it comes to their skin. But I want to ask you a question. Even within men, how is it different when you're looking at different skin tones, like darker skin versus lighter skin? How does that shift how you approach things?
Well, you have to understand what those skin tones need and what the fundamentals of those skin, how they react. Obviously, the Fitzpatrick scale to the sun, but you have to also know what it is that those skins primarily lack. Like, I know that, more darker skin tones, especially outside of Black Americans or Africans, transepidermal water loss, we tend to, and our ceramide levels are very high. And with whiter skins, their ceramide levels are low and they tend to have their collagen wall breaks down lower. Well, just those fundamentals, right? Once I understand those fundamentals, then I can understand, then I'll do my regular consultation on the individual themselves. And then I kind of make my plan based off of that knowledge.
Love it. So, Lachelle, do you have any parting thoughts here as we kind of come to a close on this podcast about what every man should know? And also, please tell us a little bit about your clinic so that people know how to find you.
I think what more men should know about this is that your skin is the largest organ of the body, and it should be prioritized into your wellness practices, just like your gym is prioritized. And this is a process that takes time, and it's like a muscle that needs to be built, right? And also, let's not wait till we get 50 or 60 or when something detrimental has happened. Let's take the opportunity to go get a facial, which is more relaxing, to start the process of understanding what your skin needs, and then more importantly, what you need in that time. So I'll leave that. My studio space is in Beverly Hills, 338 North Cannon Drive. I'm Suite 1. You can reach me at LachelleYuli.com, and you can follow me at Lachelle_men on Instagram.
And I finally want to say you are part of the Integrative Esthetician Track lecture series that's coming up at the Integrative Dermatology Symposium. Yeah. We're super excited to have you. And I think that this connection was not per chance. I think it was necessary, and really appreciate your time with us today.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Thank you so much. And I can't wait because I'm kind of bringing another tier of men's needs to the conference. And so I'm excited.
Love it. Guess what, Hadar?
What?
Tickets are selling so fast for the 6th Annual Integrative Dermatology Symposium.
Really? Wow, that's amazing. I mean, each time this event gets better and better.
Yes, it does. And as a special gift to our podcast listeners, all of you, we're offering 15% off registration using the code PODCAST15.
PODCAST15 for 15% off. That's a great deal. And prices won't be going any lower this year, so hurry up and get that discount.
So true. And if you haven't joined us in person yet, we can't wait to see you. And this is the year to come have fun at the Grand Casino Resort in Reno, Nevada.
Yes, we are excited to see you, and together with Raja and myself and other practitioners, you will get to connect with everybody, engage with the exciting research and content, and learn what the integrative movement is all about as we get inspired by the Sierra Nevada mountain range and, my friend, downtown Reno.
All that nestling sounds fantastic. Dad joke alert, maybe even skin-tastic. I know we're all about having fun at the symposium, but this year's over the top. Now, I'm not much of a golfer, but for you golfers out there, they have over 40 courses, but they also have rock climbing, equestrian trails, boat tours, pools, arcades, and so much more to just relax.
Oh my gosh, this definitely sounds like a family-friendly getaway. I know I'm bringing the kids, and while they're at the movies, Raja, you and I, my friend, no pun intended here, but we'll be feasting on a lot of nutrition.
That's right. This year's theme has been long awaited. Nurse the gut, nurse the skin, and we'll be delving into nutrition.
Oh my gosh, we can't wait to see you. Come be with us at the IDS on October 27th to the 29th, in person or virtually. See you in Reno.